What's happening, everybody? Jeremy Larochelle, entertainment consultant here. Today I want to talk about the differences and similarities between buyers and promoters. At my current job, I'm a talent buyer in the casino industry. A lot of people will call me a promoter, and that's okay because really we do the same thing, but there are some kind of tweaks on what we do that does make us different. You see, typically, promoters take on a show themselves. They're doing everything. They're going to buy the talent, they're going to build the stage, they're going to rent the venue, they're going to get the staff, they're going to pay all the fees, take care of all the pieces to put together this project. And they're mostly, if not entirely, paying for this out of their own pocket. On the other hand, you have buyers. So buyers like myself are people who are hired or contracted by a venue to purchase and program talent for that space. This is where people kind of get confused because a promoter can work in that space as well. So you might have a venue like the MGM Grand where they might have an in-house buyer, someone like myself, that typically buys talent for that venue. And you could have promoters coming to that venue and renting the space and putting on their own shows. Regardless, buyers are hired or contracted by the venue to purchase and program talent for that space. We're chosen for our connections, market savviness, and our negotiating ability. A big difference between what we do and what a promoter does is that once we put that deal in place, we're out. We hand that project over to our client, the venue, and their marketing and operations teams. So there are some differences, but it's really nuances. There's one thing that we both share, and that's risk. You see, risk is inherent in our industry. There is always a risk of putting on a show. It doesn't matter if you're booking a bar band or Beyonce at the O2. There's always a chance that you won't draw enough people to pay for tickets and buy beers and merchandise to cover your costs. There's always a huge risk in that. Now, the risk is slightly different for promoters and buyers. Now remember, that promoter is typically putting up everything to put on the show, so their model is very high in risk. Sometimes their homes, their children's schooling, even food for the table could be impacted by a negative show. Now, while a buyer may not put up their own money for a show, that doesn't mean there isn't risk for them. You see, buyers typically operate in places where there's a high amount of turnover. There's a lot of shows going over in a year. Too many underperforming shows, and the buyer could lose their job or their contract. And it gets worse for them because this is a very tight-knit community. Buyers speak to and work with high-level entertainers and their agents. A bad reputation can destroy their careers. So we take risk very seriously, and we're always looking to mitigate that risk. So we look at certain things. A lot of people think that if my show sells out, if my music is great, I should be given a shot. But we're actually trying to mitigate our risk, so we have to look at a number of factors. Of course, product quality. How good's your show? How good's your stage presence? Are you gonna rock me? Are you gonna give me something special? Your market and venue alignment. You're reaching out to me, and I may work in a jazz space, and you're a thrash metal band. Doesn't seem to make sense, does it? We look at your fan base. We want to know if you already have people buying into what you do. Your sales history, these could be ticket sales. We look at things like Polestar. We could be looking at merchandise sales. We could be considering brand value something on Instagram. Finally, professionalism. Yes, we work with rock stars, and rock stars are supposed to be aloof and not have a care in the world. That's when you're on the stage. Behind it, you should show that you're serious and you take this seriously. You weren't there to play tonight. You were there to work. So what can you do as an artist to show that you're going to mitigate our risk? Well, first, be honest. Do you have a quality product? Show it. Invite us to a show. We might go out. Send us a video. Just make sure it's not doctored. Give us that live sound. We can tell what's going on. Show us that you understand your target market and fan base. You don't need to be some savvy madman marketer. Just show us that you understand what you're going after and how you may motivate that fan base to buy into you through ticket sales, social media presence, streaming sales. And finally, be professional from that first pitch call to the loadout. If we say no, don't slam us on social media. There might be a reason, and you might need us later. We might need you later. Wouldn't it be better if we could start the relationship on a positive note, regardless of what happens? So there you go. Buyers, promoters, yeah, we're pretty much the same thing, but there are some differences, and we do share risk, and we try to mitigate that risk. So show us how you can mitigate that risk. If you have any questions, check me out at jeremylarochelle.com. Rock on.